Harris first up against him. Jeff Plum at third, even with the bag. Lance Berkman shortened up at first. Middle infielders also in a couple steps on a 292 hitter. Willie T looks at ball one. Last night, Willie was 0 for 3 with a walk. He missed opening day this year because of the flu. He takes a strike, and it's even at 1-1 for Wandy Rodriguez in quest of win number 1 of the year. Plum creeping in a little bit more now at third base. Taveras takes it high, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, you know, with a guy like Taveras, because he is so speedy and he bunts, you think about pinching the corners, but it's a good idea for the middle infielders to cheat in a little bit too for a slow roller.
Good fastball makes it 2-2. In Wandy's career against Cincinnati, he's 3-4.
Good crisp heater over the outer third at 90 miles an hour.
Willie T fouls it back off the screen. The Astros announcing before the game tonight that their skipper Cecil Cooper will have another year on his contract through 2010. Owner Drayton McClain, general manager Ed Wade taking part in the announcement.
Put Coop's mind at ease a little bit.
Yeah.
Slow start, good hook.
That puts his mind at ease when Wandy throws that pitch.
Well, the curveball is his out pitch. It's the one pitch opposing hitters are going to have most concern with when facing him. And we'll show you the defense behind Wandy Rodriguez. Lee Bourne and Pence in the outfield. And the infield, Blum, Tejada, Jason Smith gets his second consecutive start at second base. The Pumas got first. And your battery, W-Rod and I-Rod.
Now Wandy steams the fastball in, and Jerry Hairston Jr. takes it for strike 1. Like his brother Scott in San Diego, he's in a platoon arrangement in the outfield. Jerry's hitting 143 in the first few games. He has a homer. Curveball is fouled off his leg, 0-2. He had quite a season last year. 261 at bats for Cincinnati, a .326 average. Working around stints on the disabled list for hamstring and broken thumb problems. He wound up compiling an .871 OPS last season. Jerry Hairston, 32 years old now, and that's a platoon in left field as the season opens with him and lefty hitting Chris Dickerson. Hairston can play the infield spots as well, though. The Reds have a lot of flexibility in their roster this year. Wandy just off the outside edge for the home plate umpire Ed Rapuano, goes to a 1-2 count.
Boy, a great 2-strike pitch there. 0-2. Let's try to make the perfect pitcher's pitch. Didn't get the call, but great try.
Slashed up the right field line, headed for the corner. Hunter Pence over quickly. The ball rolls on him, but he stays down. Hit that lip there where the grass ends, and he stayed down with it nicely to hold Hairston to a single.
Hairston is a threat to run. Probably not as inclined to do it with a lefty on the mound.
Well, I guess it didn't hit the lip, JD, but it just skidded on him. He's a right fielder with very good range. That's a double against some clubs. Joey Votto, 400 batting average, 2 homers, 10 runs batted in on a 5-game hitting streak. An excellent young hitter. He looks at ball 1. Votto hangs in well against lefties. He's 4 for 11 lifetime against Rodriguez. In fact, last year he had an .862 OPS against left-handed pitchers. That was the second best in the league by a left-handed batter. It's a strike.
Yeah, lefty on lefty, it's all about that front shoulder, keeping that front shoulder closed and staying in there. There's a tendency for left-handed hitters to open up too early to pull off the ball against a lefty pitcher, but Votto with a real good approach. Hits the ball well to left center field.
And the throw goes to first. Hairston has not attempted a steal so far this season. The Reds want to do a lot more running. They were ineffective with the running game last year. Didn't possess nearly as much speed on the team as they have now. And they have better outfield coverage than they did a year ago. Last night, Pudge Rodriguez made a strong throw to second base to gun down Dickerson trying to steal in the first inning. He's thrown out 2 of 5, 2 of 6 for the season. And for his career now, he has 515 caught stealing. You know what, that 2 of 6 is rather deceptive because there was a double steal, JD.
Yeah, those double steals are really fair for a catcher. There's the delivery for Wandy. Nice compact delivery.
So we're calling it 2 out of 5 because you only have one chance to get a runner on a double steal. The runner at first giving Votto that hole as the Astros set up to turn 2.
Well, if a catcher throws out 30%, he's doing really good. And there have been years where Pudge has thrown out 50%. And maybe doesn't have the arm strength now that he did back then, but he's been throwing the ball well. So a combination of Pudge back there and Wandy, the lefty on the hill, makes it awfully tough.
Double play ball. There's one. And Tejada up and over on the feed from Jason Smith to make it a 4-6-3 double play. After 1/2 inning, no score.
.7 of them on the hill tonight for the Reds. Last time out, a dandy. Complete game shutout over the Buccos. Walked nobody, punched out 9. He's 1-1 with an 0.64 ERA for his first 2 starts this year.
He is sinking the ball more this year than in the past, we've been told. There is ball 1 to Michael Bourne. Once again leading off in the absence of Kazuo Matsui. 258, no homers, 3 runs batted in. Matsui coming back from a minor back problem. And he could return at any time. 2 balls, no strikes. And Jeff Keppinger also has been getting treatment for a back injury. Orang seems to be a vastly improved pitcher compared to last year when he pitched hurt. Had a forearm strain, and some trace the root of his problems to pitching 4 innings in relief between starts. And an extra inning game at San Diego, and then taking a start 3 days later. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Orang, 30 years old, drafted by the Rangers, traded to Oakland. Cincinnati got him in a deal in 03. 70 and 67, a 4.21 ERA.
Yeah, not blow you away numbers there. That's a dandy of a breaking pitch.
Yes, it is.
But prior to last year, he had a nice 3 or 4 year run, really establishing himself as one of the better pitchers in the league. Quietly, too, doesn't get a lot of pub. But this guy knows how to pitch. And if If not for that injury last year, probably would have performed well and really finished well last year. His final 8 starts had an ERA in the low 2s. So he's back. He's going to be tough.
Miguel Tejada has put together 4 consecutive multi-hit games. He's gone 9 for 16 during his 4-game hitting streak. Takes the heater, and it's up for ball 1. Tejada 368. Looking for his first RBI. This is his longest RBI drought to begin a season. Orang, with that 6'7" frame you talked about, can really throw downhill and get that kind of a plane that pitchers like to think about at driving the ball down toward the knees.
Yeah, he employs a very short stride for such a big man, and that allows him to get on top of the ball. He has real good leverage.
Misses with that one, and it's 3-0. In his career against Houston, he's won 8 and lost 7 with a 4.45 ERA.
Fastball clock in the high 80s, that one at 91. And he'll do a little better in that, but he's got a lot of deception on his fastball. Hides the ball well.
3-1.
Take a look. Very simplistic motion. Not a whole lot of wasted movement. He steps and throws. Stays fairly upright with that delivery. And finishes square to home plate.
Foul back by Miggy Tejada. It's a full count. He's a .352 career hitter against Cincinnati. That shutout J.D. mentioned for Harang last time out against the Pirates. A 3-hitter. It was the earliest complete game for the Reds in the season since Pete Harnish went the distance in the Reds' 4th game of '99. Line to left. Got it over Encarnacion, and Tejada was quick on the inside offering, giving him a 5-game hitting streak.
Well, probably went after ball 4, but all's well that ends well. He got this inside fastball and flipped it over Encarnacion's head down there at third base. Stay hot, Miggy.
He had 2 of the Astros' 4 hits last night. Now he strikes early and reaches for Lance Berkman. Lance didn't see a whole lot to swing at last night. He took 3 walks, 1 with the bases loaded. He was 0 for 1. 212, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. There's strike 1.
And Lance, a .262 hitter off a Harang, 11 out of 42, but 6 of those 11 hits, home runs. And when you take a look at Aaron Harang, home runs allowed to individual players, nobody's gotten them more than the Puma.
Runner going. Throw from Hernandez. Good jump by Tejada. The ball trickles away from Gonzalez. Stolen base, Tejada. He had a very nice jump. First steal of the year for Miggy.
They're fairly slow to home plate. He tries to employ that quick step, but he's such a big man. It still takes him a while to get the ball to home plate. The Astros will be looking to take advantage of that here this evening.
Tejada in scoring position. The count 1-1 on Berkman now with Lee on deck. Berkman takes. It's 1-2. Lance drew the bases loaded walk in the 5th inning last night. That gave the Astros a 1-0 lead, but the Reds won it on a 2-run homer in the 9th from their catcher, Ramon Hernandez. 2-1. Foul tip. Rattled around, but held on to for a strikeout by Hernandez.
That's a great example of what we're talking about with Harang. Not lighting up the radar gun, but a lot of swings and misses at his fastball because of the deceptive delivery. The ball gets on the hitters a lot quicker than they anticipate.
Carlos Lee with a 189 average, 1 homer, 5 runs batted in, gets this 2-out RBI opportunity after going 0 for 4 last night. And one of the big outs for the Reds pitchers in the game was getting Lee with the bases loaded to end the Astros' 5th. Rounder and backhanded. Gonzalez stays on his knees, no play, infield hit, but he keeps Tejada at third base. and Lee gets the single.
Carlos has been rolling over on a lot of balls, breaking pitches away, pulling them to the left side, and not with a lot of authority, but he gets a knock here anyway, and good heads-up base running by Tejada. Dave Clark is throwing the stop sign up. Don't round that bag. They might try to come in behind you.
2 on now for Hunter Pence. 278, 3 homers, 5 runs batted in. He was 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Jeff Flum's on deck. Gonzalez 1-0 on the RBI single by Hunter Pence. His 6th run batted in, and the year comes with 2 outs in the inning.
A couple of 2-out knocks here to push one across, and an opportunity to throw a crooked number on the board. 1-2 getting the slider, and he's able to squirt it through that hole. Gonzalez not able to get to it. And Blum might be the right man for the job. He's got very good numbers against Orang.
7 for 12, including a homer and 2 runs batted in. And looking for his first RBI of this season. He takes strike 1 with that 267 batting average. He didn't go longer than 8 games in a row without an RBI all of last season. He's gone 9 as he looks for his first. 1-1, joking around the batting cage with Jeff about that play he made. That ball that bounced off the backside of Roy Oswalt. As you can see, he's done some excellent work against Orang. That was in the 5th inning last night. A ball hit by Willie Taveras. Jeff barehanded the ball and got Taveras at first. Fouled away, and he said, you know, when Jimmy Williams was the manager here on my first tour of duty, he really taught me something about a play like that. He said, if you're playing third base, and there's a ball hit back to the pitcher, you need to start moving toward the pitcher. He said, believe it or not, about 70% of the time that ball is going to carry him over toward the third baseman. And if you're starting to move in that direction, that's what he did. You can make a play. Into left field. Now here comes Carlos Lee, the big man coming home. Hairston with a throw to the plate. It sails. He scores. And it's 2-0 on the RBI hit by Jeff Flum. A 2-out, 2-strike delivery for his first run batted in.
Well, made out of 13 now against Aaron Harang. They're killing the big man softly, though. Not really scorching the ball, but finding holes. 4 singles in the inning. Good enough to get 2 home. Somewhat surprised Gonzalez didn't leave his feet to try to get a piece of that one. That would have prevented Carlos from scoring.
That's true. Carlos takes the inside route. Has to diving Hernandez. He barely gets home in time.
He didn't get hurt on that mask.
Now 2 men on for Pudge Rodriguez. Hunter Pence takes off for third. No play. Steals it easily. He's 2 for 2 in stolen bases this year. Big jump there.
A situation there where the Reds aren't paying a whole lot of attention to him with 2 outs. It's one of those plays, if you know you're going to make it, you can go ahead and take that bag. Cannot afford to get thrown out there and make the 3rd out at third base.
Pitch for strike 1. And it's ball 1. Orang, the opening day starter again for the 4th consecutive year for the Reds. The Reds could have pretty strong starting rotation. Johnny Cueto was throwing well last night. Edinson Volquez going tomorrow. Bronson Arroyo. Volquez had a big year last year. The Astros, after the game last night, announced that their starter tomorrow will be coming up from AAA Round Rock, Felipe Paulino. Announce a player move after the game tonight to get him onto the roster. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Aaron Harang.
About a quarter of the pitches he made in his complete game last time. 108 to finish off the Pirates.
16 strikes so far. Some tough luck on those balls hit between third and short. Astros already have equaled their hit total of last night with the 4 singles. Have surpassed their total in runs from last night. Slowly hit. Encarnacion over. Throws him out. 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 left for the Astros after 1, 2-0 Houston. Phillips, 214 for Brandon, 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. He's been getting a lot of respect in the form of bases on balls. Last night he was 0 for 3 with a walk. Phillips has 8 walks in the first 9 games. Here's strike 1. Last year he walked a total of 39 times, but with the way he hit, that's leading pitchers to avoid the strike zone on Brandon Phillips so far this year.
Brandon Phillips showing a little more patience too in his approach. Be interesting to see if he's able to keep that up.
Well, there are some quotes from him about the Milwaukee series in the Cincinnati paper today. He said he saw 4 fastballs in that series. Pitchers are not throwing him good pitches. He was talked to Dusty Baker about it. Dusty told him, take your walks. And he said in the final game of that series he kind of came out of his game plan and hit into a double play, swinging at the first pitch in a sequence. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's generated that kind of respect with what he's done.
And he's a guy who's known as a free swinger, so I think the pitchers have gotten wise to him and said, well, you know, he's a good fastball hitter, and if he's going to chase breaking pitches or balls out of the zone, why throw him strikes?
In the air on the infield. Jason Smith behind second. 1 out. On this date in 1966, the first baseball game was played on AstroTurf in the Houston Astrodome. The Astrodome opened in 1965 with natural grass. And the grass got a little thin, as you see, because those panels on the roof at first were clear, but then with the sun streaming through, the players couldn't see the baseball. So then they painted the panels, and the grass died, thereby the need for artificial turf.
And the need to vacuum the field, a term that had never been used in baseball before.
That's right.
Get out there and vacuum the field.
Edwin Encarnacion might have used that term to describe players like Mark Belanger at shortstop, but not in the literal sense. 185 for Encarnacion, 1 homer and 4 runs batted in. I don't remember the last time they actually called a major league shortstop the vacuum, though, but that's been used. No balls and 2 strikes to Encarnacion. Encarnacion, a guy with very good power. He's hit a grand slam this season. Last night he had a double and a walk and scored on that 2-run homer in the 9th inning after a walk, a 4-pitch walk from Jose Valverde. Encarnacion doesn't have the kind of power to hit tons of homers, but he hit 26 last year. That's a respectable number. One ball, 2 strikes.
That's a lot of doubles.
Yeah, that's part of his power, the gappers.
And he's only 26 years old. He's been around for a few years now, so you kind of view him as one of the veterans on this club, and he is, but still just 26 years of age.
Breaking ball looked pretty good, but it was called ball 3 by Ed Rapuano. Wandy's had the good curveball in his first couple starts of the season.
Changeup.
He gets strikeout on that. Boy, that had some great action on it. Strikeout number 2.
And talking with Dewey Robinson a few days ago, and he thought that Pudge was going to be a good influence on Wandy because of that pitch right there. He said Pudge really likes Wandy's changeup and calls for it quite a bit.
Now lefty on lefty as Lance Nix gets the call in right field, starting for the first time this year for the injured Jay Bruce, who was in the original lineup. But he's had a sore right hand. He was hit by a pitch in the Milwaukee series. Strike 1 to Nix, who was born here in Houston. Nix was a pinch hitter last night, hit a fly ball to center. 286 with 1 RBI. He had to make the Reds club the hard way as a non-roster player this spring. No balls, 2 strikes to the 28-year-old. His younger brother Jason has been a major league second baseman. Was with the White Sox for a while. Lance had just 12 at bats with Milwaukee last year. Spent most of the year at AAA Nashville. Curveball struck him out. Wandy has a sharp second inning and maintains the 2-0 Astros lead.
#8779 Astros or Astros.com for your tickets.
Jason Smith leads it off. It's 2-0 Astros. And hits that one in the air, foul and out of play. Strike 1 for Aaron Harang here in the bottom of the second inning on Smith, who is 0 for 10. Just made a start at second base last night and now has 1 RBI this season. He tries to get his first hit as an Astro. .221 career major league hitter for 551 at bats prior to this year. And that one is picked by the second baseman Phillips. That ball was headed for right field, and Phillips came up with it sliding on the short hop.
That ball better hit than any of the base hits in the first inning. Jason Smith just can't catch a break. He really gets on top of this one, and whew, slick glove work by Brandon Phillips. Yeah, nice glove save.
Oh, that was spectacular. Jose Theodore should be so lucky. That's one out, and now it's Wandy Rodriguez. Wandy looking for his first hit of the year. Takes ball one with Michael Bourne on deck.
Might have to put a blue star on that one.
You might have to do that. Need to borrow a blue pen. Do you keep score with colored pens, or?
Well, I marked my strikeouts in red.
Okay,
so I can see those.
There's the man who invented the blue star, Milo Hamilton.
I thought it was Lucky Charms.
Well, maybe so. Maybe so. 2 balls and 1 strike. A section of Hamilton Avenue is renamed Milo Hamilton Way on the opening homestand of the year. Fans getting those street signs. Foul ball and out of play.
Do you know that Milo's real name isn't Milo?
What is it?
It's Leland. Leland Milo Hamilton.
Well, you've been doing some digging.
No, it was on the sheet in the press lounge.
Oh. Probably wouldn't be a good idea to call him that, though. Inside, and that's on the corner for a strikeout for Harang, number 3.
Coming up later in our Dodge Grab Life feature, Ivan Rodriguez tells us about his daily morning routine. That'll be interesting. Stay tuned.
Well, we've seen him working out in the gym at night after a spring training game in the afternoon. Don't want to know what his morning routine is. There's ball one to Michael Bourne.
I'm assuming it's a cup of coffee and a newspaper. Everybody's morning routine should be.
You a hot breakfast or cold breakfast guy?
I vacillate.
Third baseman in tight. Harang had some good downward action on that pitch, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, good straight change up there. His fastball, the hitters refer to, Dan Wheeler had it too, the invisible. It looks so hittable, but they just are always behind it or underneath it.
Smacked on a line, Phillips. He's all over the right side of the infield. He makes 2 sparkling plays in the second inning. So the Astros continue to lead 2-0. It could be a threat, but Brandon Phillips turning to the side. Hernandez sent the Reds home very happy and with a 5-4 record. He takes strike one. 192 average, 1 homer, and 4 runs batted in for Hernandez. So the Reds rescued that one late to go a game above 500. They've played 6 of their 9 games have been decided by 1 or 2 runs.
Here's a random factoid of the night. Last night's win was the 3rd time in the last 21 seasons that the Reds won a game in the 9th after trailing and being shut out at the end of 8. Wow. And all 3 of them were here in Houston.
Really?
Yeah. April of '89, May of '93.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, it's a factoid.
Well, Dusty Baker said after the game, it was a good thing the Reds won that thing because the Astros didn't deserve to win it.
Hey, look at that. We got a graphic on it down in the truck.
You are all over it. Well, he was probably referring, as you look at strike 3 call on Hernandez, to the fact that the Reds out hit the Astros 7-4.
3 in a row. Wandy has punched out. He just drops that hook in there to finish off Ramon Hernandez. Earth Day is this Wednesday. The Astros are playing the Dodgers, and the players will be wearing that green cap there, fashionably modeled by our producer, Wade Robinson. First 10,000 fans will receive a Play Green recycled material cap courtesy of Waste Management. Ride the Metro to the game to receive a half-price ticket. For more information and all the game day activities, Astros.com/playgreen.
We kept waiting for him to flash signs. Foul ball. Alex Gonzalez with strike 1. He's made some sparkling defensive plays, hitting .087, no homers, 1 RBI this season. He missed all of last year after left knee surgery in spring training. Well, the Reds are not sure really how many games he might play this season, but they have Paul Yanish ready to go as his backup. And Paul is a local player. Probably start tomorrow, we understand. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
All played at Rice.
Yes, he did. You see the bushes behind home plate. They are frequent attendees at Astros games, and they are watching another good curveball from Wandy Rodriguez. It's George and Barbara. Barbara keeping score. Right up to date.
Now, see, that would be a really cool memento for a player. Have a Barbara Bush signed scorecard.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you pitch a dandy or do something big at the plate, have Mrs. Bush sign her scorecard, frame it.
With ball 1 to Aaron Harang. How about if an Astro pitched a no-hitter and she kept score of that game?
Yeah, anything. Any big.
That would be historic. Somebody makes a play on an Aaron Harang foul ball. It's Aaron Harang looking for his first hit. 0 for 3 and an 0-1 count. Wow, the little guy got it. Quickly 0-2 as Wandy gets a fastball by him. The Reds pitchers are hitless except for Micah Owings, who has a hit as a pinch hitter. He is their 5th starter, but a very good hitter. And that is a quick 3rd inning. Wandy facing the minimum and striking out 6 of the first 9 to lead it 2-0.
lot of emotion for different reasons. Pairing.
Absolutely. Interesting to see who the ultimate winner is. Those are the blankets given out last night to the crowd. Tonight. Okay. That's right. It was Lance Berkman bobblehead last night. We got our blankets last night, but the fans got them tonight. It is 2-0 Aaron Harang on the losing end of this one. Tejada, Berkman, and Lee in the third inning. Miggy singled to left, stole a base, scored. This ground ball to Alex Gonzalez. Gets one out on one pitch for Harang. Our Jack in the Box standings tonight will show you the Astros all-time leaders in games played. Craig Biggio #1, Jeff Bagwell, Jose Cruz, Terry Poole, then it's Cesar Cedeno. Lance Berkman tonight breaks the tie with Bob Watson, moving into the 6th spot with 1,382. And now as he bats for the second time, he bats after striking out in the first inning. Fly ball off the end of the bat. Really, Taveras started back. Now he lopes in for it. 2 outs on 2 pitches. Harang really labored through that first, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. Now he has a chance to make it 7 straight outs if he can get Carlos Lee.
You know, Aaron Harang has a great disposition for a pitcher. His face never changes, regardless of what's going on. Very stoic out there, and that serves him well. Now, some pitchers give up a couple early and you just feel like they're going to crumble, but that's not the case for this guy.
He's from San Diego, San Diego State, showing bunt. El Caballo looks at one that sails by the catcher for ball 1. Harang, a 16-game winner in 2006, and he backed it up with 16 more wins in 07.
Carlos keeps peeking down there.
Looks at ball 2. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Harang has had 3 straight 200 inning seasons prior to last year. Last year he slipped to 184. Spent some time on the DL. 3 balls, no strikes. But the Reds have a pretty good situation there with innings pitched potentially by their starters like Harang and Arroyo. 2 young guys are a little bit harder to categorize. They haven't been around very long. 3 balls, 1 strike. They do not have a lefty in their rotation. Harang last year started 13 games against the top 5 run scoring teams in the league. Line shot right center field. Lance Nix picks it up. A little deke there by Carlos Lee. A little shoulder shake as he came around first, but he had no intention of really going to second base.
No, he's having a little fun, you know. Trying to sucker in Encarnacion by showing bunt. Rounds first base and starts pumping his hands like he's really going to go somewhere. Watch him.
2-out single brings Hunter Pence to the dish. He singled in a run with a hit to left field in the first inning. Toss to first base.
Got Harang convinced that he might run.
He does.
Carlos still trying to catch his breath.
Harang led the league in strikeouts in 06 with 216. He had 2 more than that the next year. He keeps his walks down to a minimum usually. Strike 1 to Hunter Pence. Astros making the announcement that they exercised the 2010 option on Cecil Cooper's contract. They wanted everybody to know because there had been a few stories speculating, well, if certain teams get off to bad starts, these are the managers that could be in trouble. They said that wasn't the only reason they did it. They had some talks in spring training. Couldn't quite get it done then. But now everybody knows. Pull the string with that one, and it's 0-2. Foul back. Hunter was 0 for 9 until his hit off Harang against this right-hander. Reds bullpen really stood up well in last night's game after Johnny Cueto went 4 2/3. Keith Lincoln, Danny Herrera, Nick Massett, Francisco Cordero pitching well. Up the middle, and it hits the bag and goes on through into center field. A single for Hunter Pence. He's 2 for 2.
Well, good two-strike hitting there by Hunter. He pulled off that earlier breaking pitch and really opened up the front side. This time he stays closed, keeps that front shoulder in, and just punches it back up the middle.
Now let's have some fun with Aflac trivia. The Duck says there have been 3 cycles in the major leagues this year. Who's the only Astro to do it twice? Jeff Plum, the batter. He had an RBI single with 2 strikes in the count and 2 outs. This fly ball goes to center. Willie Taveras waiting for the 3rd out. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left after 3, 2-0 Houston. What was your guess? Was it Cesar Cedeno? That's the answer. Strike 1 as Willie Taveras leads it off in the 4th inning with a score 2-0 Houston. Taveras opened the game with a strikeout.
CC may be the most talented player ever to strap on an Astro uniform.
That would be a consensus. 1 ball and 1 strike. A little chop. Goes on 1 bounce. Wandy Rodriguez takes his time.
That's overachievement, though. He put his curveball in play.
Yeah, it is. He had struck out 5 in a row. The club record 8, shared by Jim Deshaies at the start of the game against the Dodgers in '86, and Don Wilson at Cincinnati, July 14th, 1968, struck out 8 in a row.
Was that his no-hitter?
We'll have to check the date on it.
He threw a couple no-hitters, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So we'll check and see if that was one of those.
Tom Seaver, I believe, still holds the major league record for consecutive strikeouts with 10. And I believe Tom Terrific did it to finish a ball game.
Ooh.
You talk about a kick.
Is that game at San Diego?
I believe that's the one. Maybe a 1-hitter.
Yeah, late afternoon. Shadows plaguing the hitters. Hairston singled to right field earlier. And it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Quite a family, the Hairstons. This is Jerry Jr. with his dad playing in the big leagues. And his grandfather also played.
Sam?
Yeah, all right. Yeah. His grandfather Sam is the first African American to play for the Orioles. Jerry's mother, Esperanza, is from Mexico, so that's why he was on the Mexican team for the baseball classic.
I thought you were going to say she played a little big league ball too.
Wow.
She's a talented family.
That would be a story. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Baseball, unlike any other sport, that way it seems, with the family ties with brothers and cousins and fathers and sons. I mean, it does exist in other sports, but not to the degree it does in baseball.
We have the Boones with the 3 generations in that family, and the Bells.
A lot of father-son combos with the Griffeys and the Barras. And
inside, 2-2.
We put that. Maybe we need to put that club together tomorrow or Monday. The all-family team.
That would be fun.
Put the dads against the sons and plug it into a computer and see who wins.
That 8 strikeout game was not Wilson's no-hitter. Fly ball and over Michael Bourne and in Hunter Pence. That's some good outfield coverage. 2 outs.
Now Wandy has faced the minimum. The only base runner, the Harrison base hit with 1 out in the first, but he was quickly erased on the Votto double play. Wandy Rodriguez is in the rocking chair. He's in complete control of this game.
Runner wants a little more coffee talk in the outfield, it appeared. He was saying with his hands there for Michael. 3 2/3 sparkling innings for Wandy with no walks and 6 strikeouts. That could allow him to go deep into this game. He's only thrown 50 pitches. Roy Oswalt really battled last night. 6 shutout innings. He threw 108 pitches. And that's over Jeff Blum's head, and it loops in inside the left field line. Could be extra bases here. And here's a throw for Tejada. It's offline, but that's enough to hold Votto to a single. Good hustle. Votto was thinking possibly double, but Tejada released the ball quickly enough to stop him rounding first.
He cost any chance at a double when he stood in the batter's box and watched it for about 3 seconds. I'm not sure what he was thinking about. Got absolutely jammed, sawed off. You can see it here. And he's just going to kind of watch. Is that a foul? Is it a fair? Where did it go? Where's the ball?
Didn't see it.
If in doubt, run.
There's no penalty for running. Good hustle there. And it's a 2-out single. Votto takes his hitting streak to 6 games. Brandon Phillips comes up. Phillips popped to second base. Phillips, 27 years old. There's ball 1 to him. Won a Gold Glove last year. He was a member of the 2020 club. But in 07, he was in the 30-30 club. 30 homers, 32 steals that year.
Wandy in the stretch here for the first time in a while. Sometimes that provides a little bit of a challenge for a pitcher. And he's gone 2-0 on Phillips. Dangerous pitch coming here.
To a guy who can tie this game. Flashes it to third. Blum there. On to Jason Smith for the force on bottom. No runs, 1 hit, 1 stranded. Middle of 4, 2-0 Astros. laying it
A
on.
lot. There's the baby of the day. Quality baby right there.
Love that headdress. Bottom of the fourth inning, the Astros lead it 2-0.
Another one.
Astros nursing this 2-run lead. Sorry about that. Pudge Rodriguez is the batter. He grounded out to third earlier. Astros trying to milk out a win with not a lot of offense yet, JD.
No, they need to homogenize this lineup.
Just as Louis Pasteur himself is a great inventor and innovator. He will try to work on that offense and improve it. Bring it to a higher level. Glove by Aaron Harang. 1 out.
He's been very effective with that slider. Even in the first inning, the hits he gave up, he was getting what he wanted. He was getting fairly slowly hit ground balls to the left side. The Astros right-handed hitters, instead of staying through that slider, trying to hit it the other way, they're out in front and they're rolling over on it.
Jason Smith determined not to leave all those hits in spring training. He grounded out. It looked like he had his first hit. It was headed for right field. Brandon Phillips. A great pick on it. First time up. Strike one to Jason. In spring training, he hit .355. Here's the box score showing you what the Astros are doing in this game. All singles allowed. 6 of them by Aaron Harang so far. 2 by Lee, 2 by Pence. And that's a jam shot. No balls, 2 strikes with Wandy Rodriguez on deck. The Yankees set a club record today, giving up 14 runs in 1 inning. And they lost to the Indians 22-4 at New Yankee Stadium, where the clubhouses are great, spacious, but the baseball has been not so good. Broken bat. Caught by Gonzalez.
He stayed in throughout that at bat on Jason. In case you're wondering, the Yankees have been drubbed like that in their old ballpark. 22-0, I believe Cleveland got them just a few years ago.
Ooh.
The Chick-fil-A cows, they're everywhere. Take a look in the outfield. Anytime an Astro player hits one of the Chick-fil-A foul poles, fans in that game could take their ticket stub to any greater Houston area Chick-fil-A for a free chicken sandwich. I had a bowl of their soup today, as a matter of fact.
How was it?
It's good. I got this cold. A little chicken soup.
Chicken soup's good on a cold. Wandy Rodriguez looks at ball 1. He struck out looking in the second. Is that cow giving birth? Oh, it was a camel. All right. 1-1. Well, we haven't used the camel sound effect yet this year. Had to bring that one out.
We got a lot of sound effects down there.
The sound effect that Cecil Cooper and Sean Berry and company would love to hear is the solid sound of bat meeting ball. Brandon Backey threw a simulated game this afternoon. Some of the Astros hitters coming out to take their whacks against him. It was fun watching him. He went far off the mound to try to stab a ground ball up the middle. There were no fielders behind him, so he was by himself on the infield, trying to do a job of 4 other infielders at the same time as pitch.
Yeah, well, he's been cooped up for too long.
Yeah,
he needs action.
Felipe Paulino, who is 1-0 with a 0.75 ERA, AAA Round Rocket 2 starts, gets the call tomorrow. And that's a 105 start here. With those Indians scoring 14 in the second, that's the most runs New York has ever allowed in an inning. Chin-Min Wong again just getting raked over the coals. 8 earned runs in an inning and a third. Marlins got 3 in the 11th. They won again. And there's a strikeout for Harang, ending the 4th inning with the score 2-0 Astros.
first 10,000 fans will receive a Play Green tote bag courtesy of Methodist Transplant Center. And stick around after the game for a fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil Corporation, weather permitting. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. And, of course, those fireworks go off up here. I am up on the train, and let me tell you what, it is very high and very scary. But Bobby Vasquez is the conductor up here, has been for about 9 years. Bobby, the train's taken a little new look here. We got some new oranges working back there.
Yeah, that's right, Patty. They're brighter. They look more like oranges, and we even have a little ladybug up there with the Astros star on it just to kind of give us some good luck. So hopefully we'll get it here this season.
Yeah, and you guys probably can't see that, but truly there is a ladybug up there. It's probably about the size of a golf ball. It's pretty. You can see it. Well, good. It's pretty cool. Well, Bobby, I know you've had some crazy things happen to you up here. We were just talking about it. Why don't you tell the fans one of the stranger things that's happened since you've been up here?
Oh, man. Last year, Ricky Weeks from the Milwaukee Brewers hit a leadoff home run up here, and I'm watching it. I thought I had it, and it just kind of popped me in the arm, and a few fans offered me a glove for a ride on the train. You know, couldn't work that one out, but I think getting hit actually in the arm by a home run was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, if I'm up here and I'm gripping for life, I am not reaching over for any ball. It can just go. But it's pretty cool up here, guys. I'm going to hang out, and hopefully if a home run comes out, I can take the ride on this train to the other side. Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, just don't leave your feet trying to make a play.
No, I'm not. I'm not leaving anything.
Hey, Patty, we thought that Bobby Vasquez's name was Bobby Dynamite. That's what they call him.
Bobby Dynamite. He does do that Napoleon thing. Well, how about a little sample of your Napoleon Dynamite there for us?
Oh, I need a beat.
He needs a beat.
All right.
You won't do it.
Okay. Well, we heard that his thing was bad dancing, and he really had perfected that to the point that he never wants to take dance lessons.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're kind of harassing you for bad dancing. Is that your thing? You pride yourself on bad dancing?
I don't know if it's pride, but who said my dancing's bad?
I'm not
Brownie
at liberty.
did, not me.
Okay,
Brownie
is Brownie.
How about Brownie and JD versus Bobby Dynamite in a dance-off?
All right, here's your beat.
That could be ugly. See? Hey, he's far better than we could ever do.
That's a winner right there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these are all things we don't need to see. Let's watch some baseball.
Strikeout of Lance Nix. That is strikeout number 7 for Wandy Rodriguez. Very, very sharp tonight. He's allowed 2 singles.
Well, this is really impressive. I mean, he is locked in. And that curveball, the Reds have no answer.
2 outs now. Ramon Hernandez the batter. Hernandez struck out looking in the 3rd. Astros pitchers have had to deal with not much run support. Total of 27 runs scored by the Astros in their first 10 games. Strike to Hernandez.
A little bit surprised that the Reds aren't being a little bit more aggressive attacking that first fastball, because what's happening is he's getting ahead with the fastball and then starting to go to work with the curveball, and they're having a tough time doing much with that breaking pitch. And I'm sure their MO is let's try to work the count, get into a favorable count, and then sit fastball. But he's been getting the jump on so many hitters, and he's also thrown some really good changeups when behind in the count.
Strike makes it 1-2. Wandy has his best ERA of any month during the season in April. And he's averaged 6 2/3 innings in all of his career April starts. His career high for strikeouts in a game 10.
And that was against these guys last year.
Yes, he did. Here's a look at what he's been doing. Our power play brought to you by Reliant Energy.
Lots of swings and misses. There's a good changeup, but it's been primarily curveball has been his best weapon. It's a sign of a good pitcher when they're taking the ones in the strike zone and swinging the ones moving out of the strike zone.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Tomorrow, Edinson Volquez works against Felipe Paulino at 1:05. And then Monday night, it's Mike Hampton and Bronson Arroyo. 2-2. When the Dodgers open a series here Tuesday night, they will throw the first of 3 straight left-handed starters at the Astros. Clayton Kershaw Tuesday night against Russ Ortiz. Wednesday night, Eric Stultz and Roy Oswalt. Thursday night, Randy Wolf against Wandy Rodriguez. Fly ball center. Michael Bourne waiting. That's a very fine first 5 for Wandy Rodriguez. He leads it 2-0. Doled out 6 singles in the game. And now he faces the top of the order in the home 5th inning. Bourne, Tejada, and Berkman due up for Houston. Michael Bourne is struck out and lined to second base. He looks at ball 1. Michael's walked 4 times in the last 3 games. Coming into this game, he had a .361 on base average for the season. And that goes into right field. A sharp single for Michael Bourne, leading it off here in the home 5th.
Now, 2 good swings from Michael tonight. Last time up, he hit the ball right on the button, but Phillips robbed him. This time he gets a hanging changeup and whacks it into right field. Threw Michael out last night. Ramon Hernandez has only caught 1 base stealer so far this year. 5 have been successful, but he got Michael last night.
He's got to be running here, doesn't he? With 2 steals already by the Astros.
I would think.
Miguel Tejada is 1 for 2. The Astros with 7 singles in this game, and Harang will throw over.
You know, if you're going to go, you don't want to go too late in the count, but you're always a little bit concerned with a potential pitch out on that first pitch.
Tejada singled through the left side, and he grounded to shortstop. He's going. Tough pitch to handle. He steals it easily. That pitch was down and in, and Hernandez couldn't get anything going on the throw. Second steal of the year for Bourne. The Astros have 3 tonight.
And Tejada got second base in the first inning. Hunter Pence stole third base, and now Michael Bourne. And there's the break, and Harang did a pretty good job unloading the ball, but the pitch, as Brownie mentioned, a tough one to handle for Hernandez. And it comes up a little bit short.
Now it's a 1-0 count. Tejada has a runner in scoring position with Lance Berkman on deck. So the inning sets up well for the Astros here. Fly ball near the right field line, coming over Nix. Bourne will have to hold. It's not a long throw, and he makes it. Almost could have made it on the fly, but it was deflected by Gonzalez. It was headed right for third base. And the arm of Nix, 1 out.
Yeah, and Michael really didn't draw this throw. He just went back to the bag. I think Coop would prefer him to go back and tag and at least take a few hard steps towards third base. I mean, Nick's made the throw anyway. All you're hoping for there is to induce a throw and maybe get lucky that the outfielder makes an errant throw. It's not a big thing, just a little thing, but sometimes little things make a difference.
Now Lance Berkman 0 for 2, a strikeout, a fly ball to center. This ball in the air goes to the left fielder, Hairston. 2 outs for Harang.
Big 12 Showcase is your place to be for the most up-to-date news on everything associated with Big 12 athletics. Join us this week for a complete look at the Big 12 Conference on the baseball and softball diamond, spring football, and all the spring sports. Everything you need to know, everything about the Big 12 is on Big 12 Showcase Wednesday, 6 p.m. only on Fox Sports Houston.
Carlos Lee is 2 for 2. Infield hit the shortstop. Line drive to right center. Trying to come up with another RBI, which would be his 6th of the year if he can get Bourne home from second base. With 2 outs here in the inning and Hunter Pence on deck. Ball 1 for Harang. That's 64 pitches for the night. Pirates got another shutout. Ian Snell and relievers Burnett and Jesse Chavez shutting out Atlanta today 10-0.
Some very good pitching performances around the big leagues today. Santana 1-0 over the Brewers. And Gallardo both pitching very well, of course. D-back shut out the Giants 2-0. Doug Davis. And it looks like Lincecum in that one. 55, that's Lincecum, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ripped on a line, but foul. Good play. 2-1 to count.
Last inning or so, Harang has made some mistakes with his off-speed stuff, leaving him up out over the plate a little bit. Bourne hit a changeup. Carlos hit the hanging breaking ball very hard, just a little bit out in front.
He knows what to do with that glove. Another line drive. This one fair into the corner to make it 3-0. El Caballo in his second. RBI double. He's 3 for 3. RBI number 6 of the year, scoring Bourne.
Well, if you listen to the pregame show, you heard Jimmy Wynn say that Carlos Lee was going to have a very big night. Troy Cannon right on. We'll show you pitch by pitch. Fastball down, slider away. Got away with a hanger, tried to crowd him with the heater, and El Caballo was ready for it.
That's his 4th double. The Astros get their first extra base hit of the game. Everything scoring with 2 outs in the inning tonight. Hunter Pence follows. Gonzalez to his right. In the 5th inning, the Astros get a run on 2 hits. Strand a man. After 5, it's 3-0 Houston.
century. Sophia, you've been out here for absolutely ever. Tell us how long you've been an Astro fan.
I've been an Astro fan since 1966.
How many games have you missed in that time?
I missed 2 of them. The last season, I'm kind of hurricane, Ike, and well, I had to leave the house, and of course, I had a lot of damage in my home. So,
yeah, so absolutely incredible. Just this season, just talk a little bit about what has you most excited this year about your Houston Astros.
The which one?
What has you most excited about your Astros this year?
Well, the 10th anniversary that they have right now. Opening day was beautiful, and I know it's going to get better with my Astros.
All right, you got it. Sophia Garza, our progressive fan of the game, guys.
Seen a lot of her over the years.
Wow, talk about coming to play every day.
That's dedication. Wandy Rodriguez got a fly ball out to Hunter Pence to lead off the 6th inning. Now it's Aaron Harang in this 3-0 game. Wandy has allowed the Reds only 2 singles. Face 1 over the minimum so far. He got a double play ball in the 1st inning. There's strike 1 to Harang. He had 5 strikeouts in a row from the 2nd through the 3rd. No balls, 2 strikes. And he struck out Harang on 3. That's number 8. Time now for our Dodge Grab Life feature. Let's find out how Ivan Pudge Rodriguez begins his day each morning.
I wake up early in the morning. I'm a morning guy. I was 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm already walking on the house with a cup of coffee. Just thinking what I'm going to do in the day.
Wow. He goes against the grain. The baseball players. Willie Taveras takes strike 1. Willie 0 for 2. A lot of guys have a problem unwinding after playing a game at night. The norm is to sleep until probably closer to noon for many players.
Especially on the road.
Yeah.
Guys at home, they have their families. On the road, a lot of guys will turn that hotel room into a cave. Just kind of hibernating there till lunchtime.
Yeah.
But the next day, get up early, move around a little bit, take your afternoon nap, go to the yard, and be ready to play. And obviously, you don't last as long as Pudge Rodriguez without taking care of yourself.
No, sir.
18 consecutive opening day starts. 3rd most games caught in Major League history.
3 balls and a strike. This fly ball hits for center field. Michael Bourne. And in the 6th inning, it goes quickly again for Wandy Rodriguez. He's making quite a night of it and leads 3-0. Cam showing you El Caballo thundering home. Here's a throw from Hairston, a little bit offline, and he slides to the inside part of home plate, just beats the diving tag of Ramon Hernandez. That's our Coors Light freeze cam. Carlos Lee scoring back in the first inning to make it 2-0. Now it's 3-0 Houston, and strike one to Jeff Blum as the home sixth inning gets underway.
Big man showing a little nimbleness there. Is that a word, nimbleness?
It might be a word.
It is now.
Okay. He turned third perfectly, right in stride. Got the inside of the bag. If he hadn't done that, he probably would have been out. Blum 1 for 2 with an RBI single. Missing there, and it's 2-1 for Aaron Harang, who's in a fight tonight. The way Wandy Rodriguez is throwing. Harang just trying to keep this game close at this point, trailing by 3. And he misses there to go 3-1. Hairston, Votto, and Phillips due up in the Reds' 7th inning.
Fun game to pitch for both guys because both starters are very efficient at working quickly, so it's easier to stay in rhythm.
Into right field. Jeff Blum is 2 for 3. And he now is 9 for 15 in his career against Harang.
Let's take a look at the swing. Gets that front side planted and just drops the head of the bat on it. Starts those hands high and just drops them down into the hitting zone.
Butch Rodriguez 0 for 2. Jeff Keppinger 467, the club leader in batting average. And he's sidelined with a back problem right now. Butch Rodriguez taking ball one. He's been getting treatment the last couple of nights. Has not been on the field for batting practice. Kazuo Matsui also working his way back from a strained back. He could be back in the lineup as early as tomorrow. And the Astros probably wouldn't mind at all saving the bullpen for tomorrow's game.
Yeah, you get to the point with some of these minor nagging injuries where if you're Coop, you got to get tempted to throw somebody on the DL because you're playing short right now.
Yep. Deflected by Harang. Phillips makes the play at second, throws it away past Gonzalez into the left field corner. Jeff Blum is being stopped at third. Hairston runs it down, and into second goes Rodriguez. Deflected by Harang. Phillips was moving to his right. He had to jam on the brakes, come back left. Then he was trying to make a quick throw to Gonzalez to get the force on Blum. Gonzalez never gloved it.
Yep. You see Phillips' first step is towards the middle as the ball comes off the bat. And has to hurry that throw to try to get Blum. If he had to do it all over again, he probably would have just settled for an out at first base. Well, that opens the door up for the Astros now. Second and third, nobody out.
It's ruled a hit for Rodriguez and an error on Phillips. Phillips won the Gold Glove last year. That's his second error of this season. Jason Smith 0 for 2. This would be a great time for his first hit. But an RBI would be fine too. He has one of those. Second and third, nobody out. Throw to third and diving back in. It's Blum. That throw is high. Pulled Encarnacion off to his left a little bit.
Not a bad idea with nobody out. And try to bail your pitcher out with a pickoff throw. Got a clear shot with a left-handed hitter.
Ripped on a line foul. Way out in front of that one. No balls, 2 strikes. No harm done. In fact, a happy camper there.
Because he got it after it bounced off 6 people.
Wandy Rodriguez on deck. And Smith goes up the ladder and strikes out. Number 5 for Harang.
Yeah, Jason's gone after the high ball in his previous at-bats as well. He hit it hard his first time up on a high fastball. I was a little bit surprised they threw him the previous pitch on 2 strikes. A breaking pitch in the zone, the one he yanked foul. You got to be thinking strikeout there and go way out of the zone one time, either up or down, and Harang He's always been effective with that high fastball.
Infielders move in tight. Jared Burton warming up in the Reds bullpen. Wandy Rodriguez the batter. He has struck out both times. And the Reds are going to challenge him to get one through or over the infield. Outfielder shortening up. He chops it foul. Strike one. Wandy looks for his first RBI of the year. Roy Oswalt is looking for his first hit of the season. Russ Ortiz is the only pitcher on the board so far for Houston in the hit department. But Roy scored the Astros' only run last night after drawing a walk. 0-2.
Wandy just loading up, guessing fastball. And way out in front of that off-speed pitch. And again, Harang in a position now. 2 strikes on the opposing pitcher. A lot of different options. Breaking ball out of the zone. Fastball way up.
Popped up. Encarnacion over into foul territory.
Got lucky. That was a bad pitch.
2 outs. Now Michael Bourne has a shot. Had a couple of ducks on the pond. He's 1 for 3.
Well, the guy in the hot seat right now is Jason Smith. You don't expect Wandy to get the job done there, but with second and third, nobody out. Jason's, he goes into that at-bat thinking, I can't afford to punch out here. And the Reds had the infield back while Jason was hitting, so a ground ball would have gotten one more home. So Michael Bourne with an opportunity to take the heat off of Jason, pick up his teammate by coming through here. Base hit. Likely scores 2.
Jared Burton warming up. Well, the Reds relievers did quite a job last night. Mike Lincoln, an inning and a third, no hits. He came in with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Herrera, Massett, Cordero all pitching well. Foul strike 1. Reds fans. Well, for years it was Adam Dunn coming back home. Now it's Jay Bruce. Lance Nix was born in this city. Upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Paul Yanish. So the Reds fans in this area still have plenty to cheer for. Tonight, the Astros are 4 for 7 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. That's outstanding work. Showing bunt. Bourne takes it. It's 2-1. And coming into this game, the Astros, period, with men in scoring position, were hitting 200 as a team.
Pretty good pitch, just running a little bit off the outside corner.
Tejada's on deck. Big curveball gets strike 2 for Aaron Harang. Florida got 3 in the 11th and beat Washington 9-6. And there's a strikeout for Harang to end the 6th inning. No runs, 2 hits, 1 error, 2 men left in scoring position. It's 3-0 Houston after 6. recollection of Steve Perry, visiting clubhouse manager. And players will bring him their bobbleheads as they come into town, and he can add to the collection.
It's the best in the world.
It's got to be. Wandy Rodriguez leads at 3-0. Jerry Hairston Jr. is first up in the 7th inning. He is 1 for 2. He's hit the ball to right field both times. A single in the first, a fly ball in the 4th inning. Curveball misses, ball 1. Longest outing by an Astros starter so far. 7 innings by Roy Oswalt in the opener against the Cubs. 1 ball and 1 strike with Votto and Phillips to follow Hairston here in the 7th. Reds have come from behind 3 times to win in their 5 victories this year.
Oh man, is he crisp. I mean, he's throwing every fastball right to the mitt. This is a clinic.
One ball, 2 strikes from a very sharp Wandy Rodriguez. 3 and 4 lifetime against the Reds. Ooh, that looked pretty good.
Ooh.
2 and 2.
Yeah, I'm with you, Wandy. I thought you had him too. Going back in there twice, hit her after that inside fastball, probably thinking I got to cover the outside corner. Tough to pull the trigger. And he just didn't get the call.
On the curve, it's topped and flirts with the line and then goes foul. Wandy could pile up the innings this year. Back to back with Roy in the rotation. That could really help the Houston cause, and he's kept his pitches very consistent tonight.
Yeah, he has not had a single hard inning. He's been in complete control of this ball game.
He wound up, and he had an injury last year with 137 innings total. His high 182 innings in the 07 season. Fly ball, right field line, Hunter Pence. 1 out.
He's probably only gotten 3 balls on a hitter a couple of times, I'm guessing. I mean, he's been so efficient.
Well, we'll check that. He was 3-2 on Encarnacion in the 2nd. Just the one, no, and then 3-1 on Taveras in the 6th. Just twice.
Yeah,
only 1 full count. 1 3-1 count. That is exceptional. Joey Votto, the batter. Votto single to left in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. Strike to Votto. The Reds drafted Yonder Alonso in the 1st round. He's a fire plug, right-handed hitting first baseman at Double-A right now.
Yonder, as in over yonder?
Yeah, Yonder Alonso. I think he was born in Cuba, but he went to University of Miami. And it's thought that he will be a very good major league hitter, but Votto probably would be better served by staying at first than moving to the outfield, don't you think?
I don't know.
And the report on Alonso is he is strictly a first baseman. Just really is not a good fielder at any other position. I think Votto is going to be there for years to come. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Reds pretty proud of their farm system right now.
I should have brought a lacrosse stick to the game instead of a baseball glove.
Yeah. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That pitch upstairs to Votto. And Votto's one of those quiet team leaders. He and Jay Bruce constantly putting in the extra work, hitting and fielding. And they are companions on this team. Oh, that's strike 3. Very nice. Number 9. Away from tying his career high.
He almost had him on the previous curveball. It just stayed a little high, and then he cuts this fastball to the outside corner. And the Reds hitters are just perplexed. They have no idea what to look for. He's been so effective with his fastball command, the curveball, and the changeup. They're just not, they're guessing or they're guessing wrong. And he's been very unpredictable, but more than anything, just unbelievably sharp.
Brandon Phillips hits the curve foul. 0 for 2 in this game. He's 1 for 16 on the Reds road trip. Wandy struck out 10 Reds last August 26th for his major league high. He's thrown 89 pitches, 61 of them strikes. Great ratio.
And the thing about it is he's throwing a lot of them with his curveball, and the fastball he's hitting corners with it. So he's throwing a lot of strikes without giving in to the Reds hitters.
Michael Bourne's in right center. It's 1-2. Encarnacion on deck. The paid attendance tonight, 30,141. Stay tuned for Astros Live after the game. Bart Ennis and Jimmy Wynn will recap the action for you. And then 12:30 for Astros Live tomorrow. 105 game time. Grounded foul. Your Texas Ford dealers bring you our league leaders. Today we compare the Hall of Fame careers of Johnny Bench and Ivan Pudge Rodriguez. 13 gold gloves for Pudge, 10 for Johnny. And how about the caught stealing figure? Johnny, 389 home runs and a Hall of Fame career, of course.
Players were smarter in Johnny's era. They stopped trying. Knuckleheads keep trying to run on Pudge, and he just keeps throwing them out.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, they're so different. Different body build, different types of players, but no question, room for Pudge alongside Johnny in the Hall of Fame. Upstairs, and it's 3-2. And Pudge, as you mentioned, is third on the all-time list for games caught. He's been an Iron Man. Johnny moved later in his career and played some infield positions. The rigors of catching will do that to many. Yogi Berra played the outfield quite a bit when he was a Yankee. Brad Ausmus will be coming back to town with the Dodgers starting Tuesday night. And Mark Loretta and Randy Wolf. Les Ortiz and Clayton Kershaw, the flame-throwing lefty for the Dodgers, Tuesday night at 7:05. In the dirt, ball 4. First walk of the night.
Yeah, I threw him a couple curveballs there that Phillips was able to get a piece of and stay alive, and they went with the 3-2 changeup. And I think if he made a little better pitch with it, he probably would have gotten him to chase.
Dewey Robinson's on his way. There's some scurrying around in the Astros bullpen as we check the game summary brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Wandy with 7 masterful innings, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. The Astros have scored all of their 3 runs with 2 outs. Carlos Lee has 3 hits. He scored a run. He's driven in a run. And the Astros have stolen 3 bases. Chris Sampson and Tim Burdack are warming up now. And they have just begun to warm up. Both can get ready pretty quickly. But it's a 3-run lead with a man on base. So if needed, they're going to get it heated up. And Encarnacion's the batter. He struck out and grounded out. Lance Nix on deck. Not sure what the ping pong sound effects are all about tonight. There's ball 1 on the appeal to Paul Schreiber. Toronto got 2 in the 12th and beat Oakland 4-2. Blue Jays off to a 9-4 start. They're the top team in the AL East. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jason Frazier won that game. And Lyle Overbay hit a 12th inning homer, his 2nd of the year.
Starting to struggle a little bit here with his command.
98 pitches for Rodriguez. The Astros have Tejada, Berkman, and Lee due up in the bottom of the inning.
The Reds showing a little bit better patience here, but you know what happens to a pitcher? You're pitching a game like this where you're in complete control and you just get locked in mentally and you just dealing, one hitter after another. And then you get to this stage of the game, and you start thinking in terms of, man, I can't let this get away. I got to protect this lead. And your focus kind of wobbles a little bit on you. Got to get back to that one pitch at a time mentality. Stay aggressive.
Back-to-back walks with 2 outs now bring the potential tying run to home plate. And Lance Nix, who's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And now the evaluation is being made as Pudge goes to the mound on Wandy. Next pitch will be his 25th of this inning, his 102nd of the game.
And Dusty Baker has right-handed options available on his bench, but he likes the Knicks matchup. He thinks Knicks can handle Wandy. And if he goes with a righty, that might mean Sampson out of the pen, and maybe Dusty prefers to see Knicks compete against Wandy. Although I could understand doing anything you can to get Wandy out of this game the way he's been dealing. Knicks has punched out twice already tonight.
Now he takes strike 1. The Reds rescued one with a 2-run homer in the 9th last night. And now they've put a couple of men on base for Knicks here, trailing 3-0. Wandy threw 91 pitches last time out and 89 in his first start of the year. 0-2. Wandy deserved that win against the Cubs in his first start. Left with a 2-1 lead after 6, and then lost to Kyle Loesch 3-0 last time on the road.
Now this is where all the conditioning pays off. You're up over 100 pitches now, under pressure for the first time in the game. This is where you really lean on those legs.
Curveball misses. Cubs liked it though. It's 1-2. Outstanding for Wandy Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's a good 2-strike breaking ball. You don't want to leave it in the strike zone.
Wandy tied for 5th on the Astros all-time lefty win list. And he gets a strikeout, the 3rd of the night of Nix. And that is number 10 to tie his career high. He maintains a 3-0 lead and gets out of the 7th inning jam.
One back out there with the curveball. That's great stuff.
He really finished off Nix with 2 men on. Now it's Miguel Tejada. Jeff Gury in the Astros bullpen as Tejada takes ball 1. He's 1 for 3. And because Wandy has thrown 103 pitches and had to get out of that jam in the top of the inning, the Astros probably would love to say that's a night for him
I'd run him back out there.
Bottom of the order coming up. He's drilled by that pitch. Well, if they get more runs for him, that would make it easier to do that. Hit by the pitch. Tejada takes his base.
Now, if he goes in the dugout and says he's out of gas, that's one thing. But if he says he's okay, to me, the way he's throwing, he's the best option.
They still haven't figured him out tonight. Tejada hit by the pitch. On for Berkman, who has swung at the first pitch in all 3 of his at-bats tonight. He's 0 for 3. Carlos Lee on deck. That's a .337 career hitter against Cincinnati with 44 homers. This one skips by Hernandez, and Tejada takes second base.
You're starting a number of the hitters with changeups in the last couple of innings, and it's a first pitch changeup, and the last thing he wants to do is hang it, so he overthrows it. And not a real good job there by Ramon Hernandez blocking that ball.
No. 88 pitches for Harang. There's the Firestone Astros box score. Total of 10 hits now for Houston. That time Hernandez did get down on it. The count's 2-0. Now, if the Astros could add a 2 or 3 run inning here, Jared Burton warming up for the Reds, that would help to send Wandy back out there. And if he does feel still strong, why not?
Most pitchers today are conditioned that that's enough. 7 innings, 100, a little over 100. I've done my job. Let's turn it over to the pen. A mindset that exists pretty much everywhere in baseball.
That's ball 4 to Berkman, and he takes his 10th walk of the year. That's the first for Harang tonight.
Yeah, Dick Paul, pitching coach, on the phone. And Burton, you can see him there. He's ready, and Harang looks like he's toast.
Harang looking out at his infielders. Now Hernandez arrives. Home plate umpire Ed Rapuano is right behind.
Harang wants to stay in this game, but Dusty Baker's going to make the move.
93 pitches for him. It's been very competitive tonight. Dusty out with a lineup card. Apparently it's going to be a double switch. 6 innings, 10 hits, 3 runs so far, with a walk and 6 strikeouts for Harang. We'll be back to find out exactly what Dusty is cooking up with a score of 3-0 Houston right after this. Entering a double switch, and he'll be batting ninth. And Lance Nix coming out of the game. The pitcher, Jared Burton, in that number 6 spot. Burton has been in 5 of the 9 games already with a very high ERA. In his last outing Wednesday at Milwaukee, he gave up 3 hits and 4 runs. And that was in 1 inning of work. He inherits Tejada at second and Berkman at first. Carlos Lee looks at ball 1.
Yeah, Burton's got good stuff. He had a nice year last year. They're hoping he can provide a nice bridge to the 8th and 9th innings. Big hard-throwing right-hander, but as Brownie mentioned, off to a slow start this year. That 10.39 ERA.
It's 2-0. Last year he had a strained latissimus dorsi, and that limited him to 54 games, but he struck out 58 in 58 innings. Cincinnati got him as a Rule 5 draft in December of 06. Listed at 6'5", 225. It's 3-0. And Santana is now 2-1 with a 0.46 ERA for the Mets after beating Milwaukee 1-0 today. Lee takes a 4-pitch walk to load the sacks for Hunter Pence.
Golden opportunity went by the boards in the 6th when the Astros had second and third. Nobody out, failed to score. Could not afford to let this opportunity to play out on slip away. And they got a pitcher who just threw 4 consecutive pitches out of the strike zone, so he's vulnerable. That doesn't mean you go up here taking, because he's just as likely to make a mistake over the heart of the plate as he is to miss. So base is juiced. Doesn't mean you get reckless and just start hacking, but if you get a pitch in your zone, go ahead and let it fly.
Infielders in tight. And that's strike 1. Hunter with an RBI signal in the first, another hit in the third, 2 for 3.
What a funky delivery he has. He flips it up there, kind of low 3/4 delivery. He has a little cutting action on his fastball, running away from the right-handed hitter.
Got on top. 92 miles per hour. It's 0-2 for Burton. Orang trails 3-0. 2 of those base runners belong to him.
The baseball code says you stay in the dugout till the inning is over when the pitcher gets pulled from the game.
And a strikeout for Burton. 1 out, and now Jeff Blum comes up.
Well, strikeouts to the Astros in last inning, and now bases loaded, punch out with pretty quick work by Burton. Great pitch on the outside corner, and then the 2-seamer in, and then to climb the ladder a little bit. And no fooling around there. Boom, boom, boom. Straight power.
Reds infielders drop back to double play depth now. Blum is having a big night, 2 for 3 with an RBI. Strike 1 to Jeff. He comes up with a hit here. The Astros will have some nice working room. Wandy Rodriguez on deck. That dips sharply downward. 0-2. No career grand slams yet. Ball, 2 strikes. Jeff had 53 runs batted in last year. That's his best as a major leaguer.
I suspect he'll come back with whatever that was he threw on strike 2. I don't know if he did a split finger pitch or just a hard downer slider. That was filthy.
Now 2-2. Astros last of the majors in runs scored coming into this game. A real struggle for their offense. Cecil Cooper talked about that in the press conference, announcing that his contract extension had been picked up. He said, well, we have a lot of older players. It takes a little time sometimes to get started. Fly ball up the right field line, headed for the corner. That's in for extra bases in the corner. Tejada scores. Berkman behind him. 2-run double for Blum, and it's 5-0. Well, he was behind quickly in the count 0-2, but then worked his way back into it. Got a pitch he could drive for his second double.
3 hits tonight for Jeff. 3 RBI. Good 2-strike approach. Very minimal movement with the lower body. Just trusted the hands. That's the one we were looking for.
And that means some breathing room at 5-0 now. And the infielders come in for Pudge, who's 1 for 3. Jason Smith on deck. Five-run lead for the Astros. Inside, almost hit him, ball 1.
Pudge backed away from that. He was looking back at former President Bush. He was looking for a little intervention from the Commander-in-Chief.
Line drive, left field corner. Lee is home. Blum right behind him. Into second, Pudge. He has a 2-run double. And it's 7-0 Houston.
Big bang. Great pitching, keep it close, and finally taking advantage of some opportunities. Harang's control, wobbling a little bit here in the 7th, set it up, hit batter and a walk, and then Burton's come in and it continues to struggle. It's a tough start to 2009 for Jared Burton, and the Astros jumping all over him. Throwing a little gas on the fire.
Back-to-back 2-run doubles. Pudge.
Now you can work your bullpen any way you want. Okay, Wandy, you're done. Take the night off. Go ice your arm. Turn it over to the pen.
2 doubles for Pudge. That's 4 runs batted in. Jason Smith loops 1 foul. Strike 1 with Darren Erstad on deck. Pitcher spot due up next. Seven-run leads for the Astros in 09. What are those? Most runs the Astros have scored in a game this year, and the most runs they've scored in 1 inning this year, 4.
Aaron Harang gets charged with 5 of those.
6 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Erstad waiting to hit next. It's 1-2 to Jason Smith.
That's the one I thought he was going to come back with on Blummer.
Yeah.
That's a good looking pitch.
That was it. He really got ahead in that count, 0-2, using that pitch. Harang battled without any run support. Now things have really turned the other way. It's 7-0. And Burton comes back to strike out Smith. 2 down, and it's Darren Erstad next. Hitting for Wandy Rodriguez, who tied his career strikeout high for a game with 10. In 7 innings, one of his best games. 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Erstad with a runner at second, 0 for 5. This is the 9th game in which he has appeared. He's 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Strike 1. The Astros pinch hitters are 0 for 14 this season. What a night for Wandy Rodriguez.
He's got to be feeling very good about things. He was dealing.
It's his 3rd straight quality start to open the season. Votto planks it. Erstad safe, and here's a throw to third. Diving back in. Pudge makes it after rounding the bag. Votto unable to make that play. A sharp grounder by Erstad.
Votto having a tough night. Forgot to run when he had that base hit earlier in the game. And now the error here. Fairly routine play.
He got down on a knee to block it. And he looked all around.
Yeah, he may have lost his footing a little bit. Maybe he was slipping. He moved forward to field that ball.
And Phillips threw behind Pudge. Michael Bourne is 1 for 4. Erstad is not being held on by Votto. Strike to Bourne, the 9th Astro to bat here in the inning. Cecil Cooper talked about the track records of the Astros hitters in the everyday lineup, and how good they've been. 1 ball, 1 strike. And his thought was, with older players, sometimes it takes a little more time for things to come together. The Astros, of course, well aware of the slow starts the clubs have had over the last several years. They've become known for that.
I don't know if there's any evidence to back that argument up, but it's a good one to put out there for the manager. Take the heat off your boys. Because you can have a young club and start slow, and you could say, well, it takes a while for a young club to get started.
Well, as you well know, a big part of being a manager is psychologist.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit more.
Tejada's on deck. He started the inning. The Astros being hit by a pitch.
And as a manager, you answer to so many masters. You got to keep the players happy. You got to keep management happy, fans, press.
Missed by Bourne, and in the 7th inning, the Astros bat around. The biggest inning of the year. Nets to 4 runs on 2 hits with an error and 2 men stranded. Wandy Rodriguez and the Astros have built a 7-0 lead. Margaret Krause at the keyboard on those highlights. Darren Erstad is in left field after pinch hitting for Wandy Rodriguez. And the new pitcher is Chris Sampson. He comes in with the Astros leading 7-0 to pitch the 8th inning.
Well, Chris has worked 4 times already this year. Has not yet allowed a run. Was good against the Redlegs last year. The .98 ERA. Looked twice in the Pirates series, including an inning and 2/3 on Thursday. He worked awfully hard in that one through 45 pitches, about half of them to Freddie Sanchez. A very memorable, lengthy at-bat.
He was talking about that yesterday, so we kind of caught each other's eye there at one point during the at-bat. Little smile on both of our faces. Daniel Ray Herrera, the lefty's warming up for the Reds as Hernandez leads it off in the 8th. He's 0 for 2. Trying to seek permission to call him Danny, but not sure if we're allowed to do that yet. There's ball 1.
He prefers Daniel, right?
Yeah. That's the way it is in the media guide. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, whatever he wants to be called, he was something last night, wasn't he?
Kind of like K-Rod. Doesn't want to be called K-Rod anymore.
Got a theory to run by you if he comes in.
Daniel Ray or K-Rod?
Daniel Ray. K-Rod probably. We won't see him for a while. We'll see the Mets for a while. 2 balls and a strike.
Finished the regular season in New York.
Yes.
Almost at Shea Stadium. That wouldn't work too good.
No. We could go there, but it wouldn't be there anymore.
I can see why he doesn't want to be called K-Rod with all the A-Rod stuff. The A-Roid and Stray Rod and all that stuff.
Right. Well, now we have W-Rod and I-Rod.
And we had B-Rad.
Forgot about that one. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hernandez. Sampson said he was just determined to throw strikes to Freddie Sanchez Thursday at Pittsburgh. He wasn't going to walk him, and he didn't. He finally got him.
Well, yeah, I don't know if there was a pitch he could have thrown him that would have walked him. Freddie was hacking. I mean,
he was. Leadoff walk here.
Create your own Astros collectible using your favorite photos at the photo store on Astros.com. What is it? In 3 easy steps, you can make your very own Astros memory. Go to Astros.com today. Look at that. You get your picture taken with Carlos Lee.
Sitting right there on the bench next to him. That worked for him.
Wonder if El Caballo ever hired a sidekick.
We haven't heard.
Yeah, he had that sign up in the dugout for the opener. Maybe it was the exhibition game we were doing. I was looking for a sidekick, like Tonto and Robin for Batman.
Strike to Alex Gonzalez. He's 0 for 2. We never got a real job description on that. Ground ball to shortstop. Tejada shoveling. Smith, the middleman. 6-4-3. Second double play for the Astros tonight. Number 15 of the year for them. Sampson's good at getting those.
Yep, keeps the ball down around the knees, induces a lot of ground balls. And it's a room service 6-4-3 double play. No pressure on anybody. Enough pace on it where it made it easy for everybody involved.
Chris Dickerson comes up. He has a 5-game hitting streak. Dickerson 5 for 18 with a homer and 3 runs batted in this season. He was the left fielder last night and went 1 for 4. Grounds this one to the right side. Berkman diving, gets up and fires, and in time with Sampson taking a fall and holding on.
Sampson's going to be the only pitcher in the league to have a highlight reel defensive plays. It's the second time he's made a heck of a play covering first. He's down, though. He has that hip problem from the earlier play when he had to make an odd move at first base to complete a putout.
Well, hard on the right knee. Assistant athletic trainer Rex Jones there with the Astros leading 7-0.
slow to leave the field.
It was difficult for Sampson reaching back. Kept his foot on the base, and then he took a pretty hard fall coming down on the right leg.
And he caught his stumble there and watched the back foot catch the front foot. Went down hard on that knee as he tried to maintain his balance.
The Astros bullpen is busy. Meanwhile, there's Paul Yanish of Houston at shortstop. And it's Daniel Ray Herrera, the pitcher. Jeff Fulcino warming up for the Astros. Miguel Tejada looks at ball one. We saw Herrera last night, and he was very effective. Tejada has a single. He has scored twice. Herrera with a breaking ball goes to a 1-1 count. Herrera last night working 2/3 of an inning, giving up no hits, no runs. And he throws the screw jeep, has an ERA of 5.40. He's a real battler. Line drive to left field. Caught for out number one. Our replay of the game is brought to you by Chivas, showing you Jeff Blum's 2-run double in the 7th. The Astros were struggling to extend that 3-0 lead, and he did it for them. That double into the right field corner.
Yeah, second and third, nobody out in the 6th, and they failed to score, and then had the bases loaded. Hunter punched out in front of Jeff. That was a big swing of the bat there to take everybody off the hook and really extend this lead.
Tejada retired. Now it's Lance Berkman. And a ground ball fielded by Votto. 2 outs. Jason Michaels coming up now to pinch hit. Meanwhile, after the game, it's Astros Live. We hope you'll stay tuned for that. Cecil Cooper post game, highlights and analysis, remainder of the series preview, and the final score. 7-0 ball game. Bart Ennis and Jimmy Wynn standing by with Astros Live. And Michaels batting in Carlos Lee's spot. Comes up here and really an important man in the Astros scheme of things this season, as the skipper tries to get him as many at-bats as he can. He's 1 for 9 so far, 0 for 4 pinch hitting. And a shot up the middle. Phillips is playing him right there and makes the play to end the 8th. The Astros leading the Reds 7-0. Chris Sampson now pitcher number 3 of the night is Jeff Fulcino. He is making his Astros debut. 29 years old. He was with Kansas City for 12 games last year. 0-1 with an 8.79 ERA in the majors. He had 1 game with the Florida Marlins in 06. 13 career appearances.
Astros claimed him on waivers from the Royals back in December. He had a very nice spring training. Big man, 6'5", 250. Went to the University of Connecticut.
A Yukon Husky.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
Willie Taveras gets it going in the 9th inning. Chris Sampson in the 8th allowed no hits, no runs with 1 walk and no strikeouts. Taveras has been kept off base by the Astros pitchers tonight. Fulchino throws ball 1. The Astros have to make a player move after this game to make room for tomorrow's starting pitcher on the roster. Felipe Paulino will be that starter coming up from Round Rock. Fulchino's been with the Astros for several days, but this is the first time he's gotten into a game. He was being held in reserve with the possibility that he could take that start tomorrow. So he hasn't pitched in a while. 2 balls and a strike. He started a game at Round Rock and had 2 scoreless innings, but because of the Brian Moeller injury, he was taken out of the game after that and then recalled last Sunday from Round Rock. Fly ball right field. Hunter Pence, 1 out. Our Land Rover extraordinary play is the pitching of Wandy Rodriguez, who was dazzling tonight with the curve. Changed speeds well, good fastball. There was really nothing that he did not do well in this game on the mound.
No, it was a dominant performance. Real nice job by he and Pudge. Really worked well together. That was the big one there. Still 3-0 ball game. A couple men aboard.
Extraordinary appearance for Wandy Rodriguez. Jerry Hairston Jr. just took ball 1. He is 1 for 3. Bounce foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fulchino last year was at Omaha as well as Kansas City. He's paid his dues in the minor leagues with 8 years, trying to get the final outs in this game and give the other guys in the bullpen a rest for tomorrow. Day game coming tomorrow. Felipe Paulino for the Astros. Edinson Volquez for the Reds. He's 1-1 with a 9.64 ERA. Fly ball and Michael Bourne in right center. Takes care of the 2nd out. Well, the Astros hoping to square this series at 1 game each with 2 games remaining after this. It's Joey Votto coming up. Votto 1 for 3. The Reds are on a 10-game road trip. They're off to a nice start at 3-1. After this 4-game series, they go on to meet the Cubs at Wrigley. While the Astros, after this 4-game set, welcome the Dodgers for 3 and the Brewers for 3. Ball 1 for Fulchino. We're getting an injury report on Chris Sampson. 2 balls and no strikes.
I heard something about a moderate bruise on the right hand.
Yes. Oh, there are Jay Bruce.
Oh, that's Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce.
Oh, okay.
X-rays on his right hand were negative. Fly ball left center. Michael Bourne back. And Fulchino makes a nice Astros debut and combines on a 2-hit shutout with Wandy Rodriguez and Chris Sampson. The Reds got